In sales, setbacks and frustrations aren't limited to prospects who just say no. They can come from inside your own company as well. They can be your coworkers. Today, we're digging into an issue about what happens when these coworkers do something that might surprise you, could even undermine your results, and more. You might say we're going to enter the murky, unwelcome waters of when your coworkers sabotage your own sales efforts. To do this, I'm pleased to welcome a regular guest, Dave Kell, who has seen this issue a time or two, but he's told me that we can turn this into a positive. Dave, welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. One little caveat here. I'm not sure sabotage it's really the right word. That implies intention and, bad motivation. I'm more concerned with errors in judgment, errors in not following through, and so on.
Not purposeful.
Yeah, not purposeful. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'll let you correct me on that and we'll hear what you have to say about it. But let's get into it.
Okay.
Just how can this happen? These coworkers hurting your sales. Talk about that.
Well, you can have a special order that requires special handling and they don't do it, or they mess it up, or a big 25 line item order or bid that isn't taken care of properly. Anything that you may guarantee or warrant or promise the customer, and it doesn't happen because of either a lack of competency or lack of care on the inside. So when that happens, you feel like it's personal because you spent all this time, you know, getting this order, getting this thing done, and somebody dropped the ball. That's the situation I'm talking about. And I think, every salesperson has that at some time. So sometimes it's a regular, almost a regular kind of thing. So it's an issue. It's really an issue.
So to the person, the salesperson that this happens to, it could feel like sabotage. You mentioned
Mm,
personal,
hmm
but
hmm
it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Yeah.
And that's really what I want to talk about. So
That's a good
so
question.
well, first, what not to do? There's a natural knee-jerk reaction that is very short-sighted. And that is to tell the customer, listen, call me for everything. If you have a problem with an invoice, call me. If you got a back order, call me. If something didn't fit right, call me. Don't call customer service. Don't call our credit department. Call me. So what that does, I mean, that's a natural reaction is you want to take care of everything because you'll see it through. And what that does is it sends a message to the customer, and the message it's not a good message. The message is, sir or ma'am, my company doesn't have good systems. I can't rely on anybody, so I'll take care of everything for you. Call me for everything, and I'll make sure it works. So the message you send to the customer is, my company really can't do what they say it can do. It needs me to fix it. So call me for everything. That's not a message that you want to send. You don't want the customers to get the idea that your company is lacking because you put yourself out there as the ultimate solution. So it's a short term natural reaction, but it's not a good thing. So what do you do? Well, let me paint a picture of the ideal. Say this is where we want to get. So from my own personal experience, I was always a type A, task-oriented, driven kind of guy. And I extended that same sort of method of living, doing business to the folks inside my organizations too. And I got as well. And I got to the point where um, I was irritating people. I'd blow in on a Friday afternoon, leave all kinds of stuff and blow out, expecting it to begin, and people resented it. And my operations manager came to me one day and said, Dave, you're causing a problem here. And honestly, at first I just blew it off. I thought, well, I'm the top sales guy. I don't, have to worry about that. So about a month later, came back to me and said, hey, this is serious. So okay, I have to do something. And so I decided what I wanted to do is turn the table. So instead of people being irritated with me, I would want the opposite. I would like them to be sort of glad to go above and beyond their normal job on my behalf. When I needed something, they'd be glad to do it. So how do I do that? Here's what I did. I bought a six-pack of very expensive premium beer for every customer service person, everybody who was customer facing, who I touched. Brought it into the office, gave it to each one, apologized, asked them for a second chance. It was tough to do. I mean, that was really hard to do, but I did, and it turned out that it did what I wanted to do, and I got people to the point where they enjoyed and look forward to going above and beyond, for whatever it was, and who kn- a thousand things. So just the idea of recognizing and appreciating and thanking those people who aren't who don't have the visibility that you have, that but make everything happen. So is there an ideal place you want to get? Yeah, that's where you want to get. You want to get to there, you know. So what do you do in the interim? What's the short term? Well, if you have a situation, is it a situation or is it a pattern?
Hmm.
Is it a one-off incident or is it a pattern? If it's a one-off incident, well, okay, things happen. Apologize to everybody and fix it and move on. But if it's a pattern, then you've got an issue. And I think the issue is you go to the person first and
Yeah.
talk about that, see if you can't get some understanding there.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Like, well, how do
Mm.
you have that conversation? You don't want it to be a confrontation.
Yeah, you don't. That's
So,
right.
so in your experience, what has worked best? Obviously, an honest conversation that's
Mm.
not heated is important. But
Yeah,
is there a point where you just have to take it up the chain and make it a bigger issue to
yeah,
protect your own sales?
yeah, yeah. There is, and well, I shouldn't say there is. I mean, hopefully there isn't. Hopefully it's a one-off, and things work well. But if it isn't that, if it does come to that, then rely on your sales skills. You know how to influence people. You know how to make people comfortable with you. You know how to ask the right questions. You know how to do that. So now all you want to do is take those sales skills which you use with customers and move them and apply them internally to the folks who are on the inside of the business as well as those on the outside. So you just ask yourself here, how would I do this? I've got the skills. I know how to do some of this stuff. So how would I apply those skills to a different situation? And it's pretty cut and dried. You make them comfortable with you, find something to compliment, put the issue out there. Say, here's the issue. Ask some questions. Get them talking, so you understand their perspective and their point of view, and see if out of that out of that material that comes from your questions, there isn't a basis for an agreement on a mode to go forward. And again, it's just like you would with a customer. You just apply those same skills internally.
So to me, a question might be, could you help me out with this issue?
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Get
Yeah.
them on your
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So again, just be careful about closed-ended questions. So I
Sure.
would I'd like is there some way? Let me think. I'd love to have you help me with this. Is that okay with you? Is that okay? Something like that. It's soften. So I use a technique I call buffering. When you have to ask a difficult question, you tell a little story first, and then or tell how other people have the same situation first, and then you ask the question. Just makes it a little softer, a little easier to respond to.
Yeah. Covered it nicely, Dave. Appreciate this. Any final words to close with you can think of?
Yeah, I think this is one of the higher order sales skills that the real good, the five percenters, the masters of the world of sales, at some point master this ability to create nurturing, helpful, relationships with everybody who talks with them and has something to do with it on the inside. That is a strategy. Matter of fact, it's number I think it's number 10 in my 11 Secrets of Time Management for Salespeople book. And because it is a time management strategy. So I would challenge people who are listening to this to take it up to a higher level than you've ever done before, and make this a competency you're good at.